Yeah, guys, this is where the vlog's starting. I was swinging the sword around a little bit, getting a little exercise. I did some Ironman stuff this morning. I had to change up the pelvis. I kind of kept the original part, like the first draft, I kind of stripped it back down and then started working on it again, or the first attempt, excuse me. Took the first attempt and I stripped it down and started attempt 2. I'll show that to you guys now. All right, guys, so I've made a few changes on this, and it's mostly here on the side. I realized I had forgotten to put in muscle anchors in here that I needed. So those are these two right here. And this one's going to wrap around like this, and this one's going to come down, and then there's going to be, and I added another one on the back right here, these two right here. So I realized I didn't have enough in there, and those are for the biceps femoris, the long and short head. Both of one of those is going to come down here, and then the other one's going to come over here, and it's going to wrap over. And then I can't remember the name of the muscle that I am calling that one, but that one comes down. That's the two biceps femoris, they pull the knee forward and backwards, and the other one pulls the knee back or forward, and then we'll also do internal and external rotation. So 2 to straighten your knee, and then 1 to pull your knee back. And so those go right there. And then if you look like this, if we go up underneath like this, you can see there they are coming out right there. So there's one here, and there's one there. This, by the way, is what it looks like when I'm wearing it. In case you're new to this channel and you have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, this is how it looks when I'm wearing it. Anyway, you can see this is a little different because this one right here goes is on like the lower part of this joint, which is just a new way I did it. And so the part that comes down from here is actually going to be able to slide over the top of this shit. So if we look right here, this right here is the joint in here. So that and that, like that, so there's a part that goes in between these two. There's one that comes down here for the leg and one that comes down here for the leg. And you'll see the bolts are slipping through right here, but that's because I forgot, or I haven't yet done what I do here where these ones are recessed. So these bolts are recessed, you'll see right here. So that's a bolt head right there. I haven't drilled the holes yet for them, but that's a bolt head right there, and there'll be another one there, and there'll be recessed bolts. And you know what? They're supposed to go all the way down there, but it doesn't look like they might not fit, so I might have to use a different type of bolt for that, either a more shallow head, which I think they make, or I'll have to grind down the heads on those ones, which probably best to buy one that is already made thinner. But it's just a different kind of unique way of doing it. And then one thing I had to change here is because of these parts that bolt on here. So this, I had to, because of the fact that there's 2 smaller exomuscle anchors here. These are for smaller muscles here, but those are for your abs, so they'll be able to come up and down, side to side, and twist depending on how they're fired, because there'll be 4 of them, and they'll meet in the middle on the torso. Anyway, a bolt has to come over and bolt on the back part and bolt on the front part here, and the same thing is done here and here. So this part is the leg right here. So remember, this part moves up and down like that. You see? Haha, look at that. So there's your leg moving up and down. And then the front part will come on and bolt on here. The back part will come on, bolt on there. Boom. And then the same thing goes on for this is the torso coming around here and here. And that bolts on here and bolts on here. Just like that. And I have it cut open. I have it done 2 here in the back, but I could actually leave one side of this attached, leave this attached to the back, because these parts will always be on here. Sorry, this isn't going to make a whole lot of sense to you guys, but the idea is, what I'm trying to say is that when I'm putting this thing on, I'm trying to figure out how to keep this in the smallest number of bolts and least complicated way to put this thing on as possible. And it keeps getting more and more complicated. Like there's 2 bolts per exomuscle anchor, and at first I had 1 in there, but I don't think it was going to work very well, so I added it to 2. And then now it's having to come in the front and on the back. At first it was just going to come in on the front. That was the idea. But because these teeth go in here and stick in here, like that, those teeth come up through there, they have to bolt straight onto it, so they can't slide in from the back, from this way and this way. They have to come straight in, so like straight on right there, and then the bolt comes in right there and bolts me into it. So it's pretty crazy. Putting this thing on is going to be madness. So you put all that on. So let's see, to get all of those on, just for this part, there would be the 1 bolt that would go right here in the middle of this, and that would be putting so it's not drilled there yet, but it'd be right in the middle there, and that would be holding this bar in place right here. Then there's 2 more there, and then there, and there, which is 1 bolt hiding right there, and then there, and there, and then there, and there, and then you have all of the side pieces on. and then the front and the back piece comes on. So there's a bolt there, and there for that. So that's let's see, 9 bolts to put that on right there for one side, mind you, just for this part right here, and then 9 more on the back side for just the sides, and then also all of these bolts up in here, which how many are those? It's 20 bolts there, so 29 bolts to put this thing on, and that is just the pelvis right now. This thing is gonna be so fucking wicked to wear, guys. It's gonna be so ridiculous to have 20 bolts. Oh, and then there's 2 more bolts, so there'll be 29, 31 bolts to put this on, because there's gonna be a piece that comes on the side and kind of hinges on up here, in here, and then comes down and will slide into some grooves like down there, and then 2 bolts will hold that on. So that'll be like an armor piece that gets locked onto the outside of it too. This thing's gonna be fucking ridiculous, guys. It's gonna be so absurd. So it's gonna go. It's gonna, yeah, 31 bolts to put just this piece on. Oh wait, 32 bolts. 32 bolts to put the shit on. How nuts is that gonna be? Alright guys, so that's kind of what I got done today. Stripped some stuff down. I had to open up and change how those things all bolted on. Took a lot. It doesn't look like a whole lot has changed to you guys, but so it kind of looks the same, and you can't really see inside the suit, so you know it's like not the most exciting thing, I know, but it just took a long time. I had to sit there and really think about it and just think like, how this isn't working, and how do I change that, and okay, if I put that there, then that kind of stops that from moving, and so I just had to work through it and kind of figure it out. But I think what I got's gonna work. I think what I got makes sense. Hey buddy, do you want to smile for the camera? Hi. Yeah, doesn't want to smile. Anyway, what was I saying? I think we're getting there, guys. I think the thing's gonna work. I got the welder coming. I mean, that's good news. It's good news. I'm actually be able to weld this thing together. Now all I have to do is find the money to pay for it, which is gonna be more than the welder. And I have like no money right now, so well, if I do work in like 20 minutes, but only for a couple hours, and so we'll see if I even get any orders. So yeah, man, it is. It's scooting along, and whenever I start a new draft, it's always the first one I start with. Ends up taking the longest to figure out. So I think eventually I'll start to pick up speed on these a little bit, and then, I mean, I think draft 5 is probably seeming pretty doable for having one built, which is not that far off. And if draft 4 goes how I kind of see it going right now, and I figure it out in the strength testing, as long as something doesn't really rear its head in the force testing and force simulation on these things, and I really have to rethink how something's built, which is always possible, but I think it's probably gonna work. And yeah, I mean, pretty fucking close, so it's pretty cool. This thing's gonna be crazy to put in 30, what do I say, 32? 32 bolts just to put on that part. Just that part. That's one of 7 files. So if we just multiply it straight across, I don't know, it's like what, almost 200 bolts? I guess that's close to what I predicted. That's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be so crazy. I'm thinking about 3D printing things that kind of hold it, and then they hold onto the suit, and it'll have like a handle on it too, so that you can arrange it, and like eventually maybe I'll get a robot like in the future to help me put it on, but then whoever's gonna be my assistant bolts me into this thing has a handle to grab onto, place it into place, and then it'll have some kind of way of holding all the bolts there too. And then they'll just have to hold it in place, and then grab a drill and go meh, 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 put them all in. So that'd be the best, easiest way to do it. But yeah, guys, this thing's gonna be awesome. If this is the first video you're seeing, hit the subscribe button. For whatever reason, this is the second video you're seeing and you haven't subscribed, fuck you, and hit the subscribe button. You guys are awesome. I love you guys. Have a good night. Come back tomorrow. Hopefully I'll figure out even more cool shit and start moving on to another file. You guys are awesome. I love you.